And welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert, once again riding solo here on this Friday evening as Joel is away enjoying some concerts down there in the state. So hopefully Joel is having a good time. We'll be back to our normal scheduling next week, but just me again tonight here for Friday. We got a 11-game slate for Saturday, March 15th, already here to the middle of March. Playoff races heating up and whatnot here. So good time to get along with the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. Leave us a like and comment there as well. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify too. All those things help. And join the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Also follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. First, take a look at the we don't have any puck buck bets from last night. But let's take a look at this 9-game slate from last night. Panthers Leafs, big game up there in Toronto. Panthers came away with a 3-2 win, back and forth game. Went up 3-1. Max Domi made it a 1-goal game late. Senators returned home. They got the Bruins 6-3. Big win there for Ottawa. Then my Flyers. I was all over the Lightning. Vasilevsky did not play. Kucherov did not play, and the Flyers got the shootout win there. Bobby Brink, a big game. Penguins, 5-3 win over the Blues. I mean, outshot by 13. They continue to win games that they shouldn't. Have another good game matchup this weekend against the Devils we'll get into. Devils, meanwhile, had their own good matchup on Thursday night, 3-2 over the Oilers. That was Oilers were up 2-1, I believe, in the third period. Jesper Bratt tied the game, and then Simon Nemec with the game winner for the Devils there. Blue Jackets at home as well. Did not get it done. No goals. The Cannons were not firing for the Blue Jackets on Thursday night. Golden Knights got 4 in that one to cover the puck line. We were on the puck line in that one, so that was one win we got there. Rangers, they're making a good playoff push. Got a big game on Saturday against the Blue Jackets as well. They won that one 3-2 over the Wild in overtime, so we did get our under 5.5 home there. Kings, 3-0 low-scoring win against the Capitals. Ovi off the board, obviously, with the Capitals getting shut out. And then the Sharks-Blackhawks game. Thought it might be higher scoring, but just a 4-2 win for the Sharks. I know Celebrini had at least one assist in that one, so he's still going for the Calder Trophy. You still have Lane Hudson as well is putting up good numbers for the Canadians. So we'll see what comes down between those two. Yeah, that's the 9-game slate there. For Thursday, just going over a little bit. And all right, it's March Madness time. Selection Sunday is this Sunday. So you can compete against SGPN this March in our $75,000 winner-take-all college basketball survivor contest. March has never been this exciting. Enter at splashsports.com/SGPN. That is splashsports.com/SGPN. I don't know. I think there's been any news since we last talked here. Golden Knights gave Aiden Hill a big extension today. 6 years, $6.25 million. He was due to be a free agent this summer, so looks like they're going to go with him for the long term. He's been, he's kind of found his career there in Vegas, winning the cup there, of course. They tried Samsonov this year. He has not been living up to expectations, but he had a good game recently. Also, there's been the Rasmus Dahlin saga over the past 48 hours here with Paul Bissonnette coming out, and saying he heard that Rasmus Dahlin might want to trade from the Sabres. Then Dahlin went out to the media. He was asked about it. He said he did not do that. He wants to be in Buffalo. And then Elliot Friedman reporting today on his podcast that Dahlin did request a meeting with Sabres GM Kevin Adams to talk about the direction of the team. But Dahlin was satisfied with what he heard. The Sabres have to put it into action, which, that's the big thing for Buffalo is they get all these top picks, they get all these top players, and then just nothing happens. And then the players leave and they get a lot better. We've seen that with Jack Eichel. Maybe we'll see that with Dylan Cousins. We've seen that with Rasmus Ristolainen in Philadelphia to bring it to a Philadelphia angle there. There's been been quite some bunch of players leaving Buffalo to improve. So we'll see if that continues. I mean, we've saw Bo Byram go there. He hasn't really done much. They have a bunch of defensemen, Power, a bunch of guys there that just, have not lived up to expectations. They're just rebuilding forever. Ottawa is finally looking like they're making the playoffs. Habs are even making a playoff push. But yeah, the Sabres there are just classic Buffalo, just, right there in the basement, the Buffalo basement. That's kind of what you have come to expect from the Sabres in recent years, which is unfortunate for Buffalo because hopefully they can get a better thing going there for them. But yeah, playoff races are heating up here in the East and the West. You look at the East, you have the wild cards are right now the Sens at 75 points. Then you have the Blue Jackets and Rangers both at 70. They play each other on Saturday. That should be a good matchup there. Got the Canadians at 69 points, which is a point percent better than the Rangers. Red Wings are somehow still hanging out there. Bruins keep winning games. They're not going to keep doing that. So you got, 4 or 5 teams vying for maybe only one spot now, with Ottawa seeming like they are going to make it. But, they can always go on a losing streak as well. And then you got the West here. Of course, Minnesota is in it, but Calgary, Vancouver, both right there with 71. Utah, St. Louis, both at 69. So hopefully we have some good playoff races here going into the final month of the season. Of course, you do have the big race in the Atlantic Division as well, with the Panthers getting the big win over the Leafs to take a 4-point lead. Leafs do have one game in hand, but Florida, even without Matthew Tkachuk, it looks like they're chugging along. No Matthew Tkachuk, no Aaron Ekblad. They got Seth Jones to kind of fill that hole. We'll see if Brad Marchand ever plays in the regular season, but the Panthers are chugging along here. Lightning seem, kind of reserved to their fate that they'll be playing either the Leafs or the Panthers in the first round. Probably the Leafs. That should be another good series between those two blue and white teams. And then in the Metro also seems pretty much locked up there. Caps have the 1 seed. Hurricanes are going to be in the 2 seed, and the Devils, as long as they keep playing well without Jack Hughes, they'll stay in that 3rd spot there. But I mean, we'll see how long they can keep this up. Jack Hughes, obviously a big part of their offense, also missing a few defensemen, so we could see them fall off in a little bit. Divisions in the West also kind of decided. You got the Jets 8 points up on the Stars. Stars do have 2 games in hand. Avs right there in the 3rd spot. You got Vegas 6 points up on the Kings. Kings Oilers going to be another first round series. It's looking like they're in the Pacific Division. So that should be fun for Edmonton fans, at least. I'm not sure if the Kings are going to be able to get it done. Maybe they do finally are able to get rid of the Oilers in the first round, but I don't know. Everything's looking pretty good for Edmonton. They are relying way too much on their top heaviness, but I mean, as long as their penalty kill comes alive like it did in the playoffs last year, I think they'll be pretty good. So yeah, we got 15, 20 games left for these teams here, so it should be a fun final few weeks of the season. And that starts on Saturday, March 15th. We have a 12-game slate here to get right into. Kicking things off here early at 12:30. We got the Vegas Golden Knights minus 185 at the Buffalo Sabres plus 154. Under 6.5 minus 115. Over 6.5 is at minus 105. As I said, Vegas coming off that 4-0 win in Columbus. No problem there going on the road. Now 15, 12, and 4 on the road Vegas is, which, they have to improve that. That's still under 500, 15 wins, 16 losses. Still have one of the best home ice advantages in the game, 24, 7, and 3 at home. And Buffalo has been a much better home team, 16, 14, and 3, 9, 19, and 3 on the road for them. But I mean, they've lost 7 of their past 8 games. Only win was as a big underdog against Edmonton at home. It just seems like they're falling off quite a bit. JJ Peterka has been out now for a while. He'll miss tomorrow's game. Josh Norris is day to day. He's questionable for Saturday. He probably won't play. He's been beat up a bunch. And Vegas is just keep rolling on here. So I went with Vegas on the puck line in their last one in Columbus and going right back to it here at plus 136. You can probably find better odds out there. Plus 140s out there at the very least. But yeah, this is coming down in some spots. I do like them on the puck line. Coming off that 4-0 win, all their last wins 4-0, 4-0, 5-2, 2-0, 7-5, 3-1, all by 2 or more goals. That's all since the Four Nations break. And Buffalo 7-3, 4-0, 6-5, 6-2, 4-3 overtime, 4-2, 5-2 in their past 7 losses since the Four Nations break. So Vegas has been covering the puck line quite a bit. 54 of the last 89 games here, according to covers, plus 24 units on that. So like Vegas here on the puck line at plus 136. For the total, maybe see Aiden Hill go in there and not allow a ton of goals coming off that a big contract, feeling good. But Buffalo's allowed 7. They allowed 6 to San Jose, 6 to Tampa Bay. So you could see Vegas getting 5 themselves here, and then if Buffalo can get 2, it goes over. So no strong feeling on the total, but I do like the Golden Knights here. Either minus 185 if you want to play the safer thing, or I don't mind the puck line there at plus 136. All right, down to 3 o'clock now. Got the New Jersey Devils minus 142 at the Pittsburgh Penguins plus 120. Over 5.5 is minus 120. Under 5.5 is at plus 100 here. I said before, both of these teams are surprisingly playing well given their situations. Devils had Jack Hughes go down, and they've now won 3 straight at Philly, against Columbus, and then against Edmonton there last night. Pittsburgh has also won 3 straight after a 4-game losing streak. And that's coincided with Tristan Jarry coming back up from the AHL. He allowed 3 last night to St. Louis, but allowed 2 to Vegas, 1 to Minnesota before that. So I think maybe you just keep riding Pittsburgh here plus 120. I do think the dam has to break at some point because looking at their recent games, starting with the most recent, they've been outshot 35-22, 37-17, 30-22, 27-22. Like they're getting dominated in terms of shots on goal. But New Jersey hasn't been doing a ton better here. So this is probably going to be a pass game for me. Maybe a look to the under, depending on who starts in net. Both meetings this season have gone under. The Devils winning 3-0 and then 3-2 in a shootout. So yeah, under at even money or Pittsburgh at plus 120, but I don't have a good read on either of these teams right now to make at either of those plays a bet even. Just look that way if you are looking for some action. All right, down to 5 p.m. here. I got these games spread out. We got the Washington Capitals minus 270 at the San Jose Sharks plus 220, under 6.5, minus 115, over 6.5 at minus 105. Capitals on the puck line are minus 112. And I think that's the way you kind of have to go here. Sharks are a fun team to bet when they're huge underdog, but I don't think plus 220 is enough here. If it gets up to plus 250, plus 275, maybe you sprinkle a little bit. They are coming off a win. Rare to win back-to-back games, and also rare for the Capitals to lose back-to-back games. They lost 3-0 there in LA on Thursday night. That broke a 5-game winning streak, 7-4, 4-2, 5-2, and then 2 overtime and shootout wins there. So when they win in regulation, they tend to win by margin. And when the Sharks lose in regulation, they tend to lose by margin. So I'm not laying minus 270. Maybe the puck line there at minus 112. That has come down a bit. It did open around even money, which I would probably bet that. But minus 112. This is going to get higher, probably minus 120, if not more, by the time some of you people are listening to this. So maybe an Ovi goal parlayed with the Capitals. Maybe Ovi to score last, and you see him get an empty netter like he's been piling up. So yeah, but I think Washington gets right back at it after the shutout. I don't think they've been shut out too often this season. Going back to look at their schedule, how they've performed after shutouts. That may have been the first one. Going back, the first shutout since October 26th. They lost 3-0 in Tampa and then returned home to beat the Rangers 5-3. So Washington has done a great job of covering the puck line. They're also one of the best third period teams in the league. They are outscoring. They have the most goals in the third, tied with the Avs with 90. And they've allowed the fewest at 47. So they've almost had doubled their opponent in the third period. Obviously, some empty netters in there, but it's definitely something to look for. They've been able to kind of grind teams down. Watch that in the playoffs. And then Sharks third period, they've been outscored 87-63. So yeah, maybe look for a Capitals third period puck line or third period team total as well. But you have to go with the Capitals here, even with the Sharks at home. All right, we are brought to you by Edge Boost. SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS, sweepstake, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And your money is insured with the FDIC insured there. The best part is no credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up for Edge Boost and enter our free $2,000 bracket contest at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. Your place to bet every sport, plus props for every game. They accept customers from a ton of locations. So head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That is mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right, down to 7 p.m. here. We got the Carolina Hurricanes -175 at the Philadelphia Flyers +145. Over 5.5 is -125. Under 5.5 at +105 as well. Carolina is on the second half of a back-to-back here. They're hosting Detroit currently. Puck just dropped on that one. I think I saw Frederik Andersen started. Yeah, Freddie started there. So we'll have Kochetkov between the pipes in Philadelphia. Kochetkov allowed 1 against Tampa, 2 against Boston, 1 against Calgary in his last 3 starts. So maybe look at a Flyers team total under here. Maybe just look at the Hurricanes at -175. They have been good on back-to-backs this year, 6 and 4 in their 10 back-to-backs. The over/under 4, 4, and 2. So no real strong trend there. But I mean, this Flyers team has not been scoring a bunch at all. They got 4, including the shootout tally there against Jonas Johansson and the Lightning. That's the backup. I mean, Kochetkov's better than them. Hurricanes haven't allowed more than 2 goals during their 5-game winning streak. They allowed 3 to Edmonton before that. So I don't see the Flyers scoring more than 1 or 2 here. Maybe an under 5.5 at +105. Flyers are still playing, decently structured defensively. Tortorella does stress that. But yeah, Hurricanes have been winning fairly easily recently. Maybe see what happens tonight against Detroit, but I think Carolina has to be the way to go here, even on the back-to-back at -175. That's a good price. They beat the Flyers 4-1 in Philly back in November after beating them 6-4 at home earlier in November. And with Hurricanes outshot the Flyers 35-16 and then 37-19. So Hurricane shots over, Flyers shots under, Flyers goals under. Hurricanes here. I think I might end up playing that -175. Puck line could be a decent look too at +160. Right, down at 7 o'clock again here. I got Tampa Bay Lightning -162 at the Boston Bruins +136. Over 5.5 is -115 with the under 5.5 at -105. Bruins, another one of these teams like the Penguins that, sold at the deadline. Sold more than the Penguins, but I mean, had those back-to-back wins in Tampa and then against Florida, but then went to Ottawa and kind of got humbled a bit, 6-3 there with Senators fans chanting they want the playoffs. But Lightning as well, they've lost 3 in a row, including that 4-0 loss at home to Boston, 4-1 in Carolina, 4-3 last night in Philadelphia. So they've allowed 4 or more in 4 straight games this season. Boston won the past 2 meetings, including that 4-0, and then 6-2 back in January. Tampa Bay won 4-1 earlier this year as well. So been back and forth, but I think you got to go with Tampa here, especially if Kucherov is in. He is day-to-day with an illness. He was a game-time decision on Thursday night. I think if he's back in there, you got to go with the Lightning at -162. Vasilevsky should be back in there as well between the pipes. And the Bruins have to run out of gas at some point. Traded Marchand, traded Carlo, no Lindholm, no McAvoy. I think the Lightning will be able to take them down there. So I do look to the Lightning at -162. As for the total, can't really get a good read on either of these teams. They've both trended to the under in their past 10 games, and I think that is the way I would have to look, as long as it is Vasilevsky and Swayman. Swayman has been better as of late before that Ottawa game. So, looking to the Lightning and the under there. All right, down at 7 o'clock again, got the Florida Panthers -198 at the Montreal Canadiens +164. Over 5.5 is -122. Under 5.5 at +102. Montreal coming home from a long 4-game road trip out in Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, and then Seattle on Wednesday night. They had the back-to-back there, so they did have tonight off as well as last night. But still, long road trip coming home. Always want to try to fade that. Panthers, though, almost $2 favorites, but deservedly so. They've won 7 of their past 8 games. Only loss was in Boston, kind of a fluky loss there. Did not expect that one. And they've been great defensively recently, haven't allowed more than 3 goals in their past 10 games, if not more. They've only allowed 3 goals, more than 2 in 2 of those past 10 games. So they're playing well defensively. That's what they do. Bobrovsky is playing well in net too there. Montreal is making a push, 16-12-4 at home, but Florida 19-12-1 on the road. This is a spot where I might be looking to that puck line too at plus 130. Florida, can win by margin. They've had a few shutouts recently, 4-0 against Buffalo, 3-0 against Columbus, 3-0 against Calgary. But Montreal has been playing it tough. I mean, since the break, they've won 5. They have 2 overtime losses and 1 regulation loss. So they're pushing pretty strong here. If this line does move up, I would be open to taking the Habs at plus 180 or better here. But given this pricing, I think you got to go with the Panthers. The Canadians did beat the Panthers 4-0 back in December, but the Panthers are just rolling right now. Seth Jones has stepped in for Ekblad. They haven't really missed a beat without Kachuk. So I think you got to look to the Panthers here with the Habs coming back from a road trip. And 7 o'clock again here. Got the New York Rangers minus 130 at the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 110. Under 6.5 minus 118. Over 6.5 is minus 102. These are the 2 teams here right now fighting for that second wild card spot in the East. You got the Sens are 5 points up on both of them. Columbus has 70 points in 65 games. Rangers have 70 points in 66 games. Rangers did just break a 4-game losing streak with a 3-2 win in Columbus. Columbus came home from a 4-game road trip, lost 4-0 to Vegas, but I think they get back at it here. 27-4 at home, the Blue Jackets are. Rangers on the road are 16-4-3. There's something about that home ice in Columbus that they're able to get the job done here. So I love them here as home underdogs plus 110. You can still find plus 120 out there. Let me find here what their record is as home underdogs this season. Sportsline tends to have that. Let me pull that up here while I stall a bit. Blue Jackets as home underdogs are 16-8, plus quite a bit there. So as underdogs this season overall, they're 26-30. Like this is a pesky team. This is a pesky team that's looking to make some noise here. Zach Werenski getting a lot of love in the Norris Trophy conversation. He's down to as low as plus 125 I'm seeing here. Can still get plus 190, but plus 125, plus 140 here at DraftKings. So, Blue Jackets at home. I think you got to go with them plus 110. I would not be surprised to see them end up at even money or even the favorite in this one. Rangers have, they've been impressive overall the second half of the year here. We kind of wrote them off a little bit early on, but any team that has Igor Shesterkin can definitely make a run. But I think the Blue Jackets second home game here after the Stadium Series, I think they get it done. Plus 110 there at home. As for the total, it's tough to bet an over against Shesterkin, but Columbus has scored. I mean, we saw this matchup last Sunday in New York at Madison Square Garden. It was a 7-3 win for the Blue Jackets. So I don't think it's going to be a 7-3 win quite so, but maybe like a 5-2, 4-2 type of win for the Blue Jackets. I think they do get it done at plus 110. All right, down to 7 o'clock again here. Got the Ottawa Senators plus 140 at the Toronto Maple Leafs minus 166. Under 6.5 at minus 130. Over 6.5 at plus 110. Another fantastic matchup. Bunch of good games here on this Saturday slate. Ottawa coming in on a 5-game winning streak, 7-game point streak with their only loss there in a shootout in Washington. Toronto on the flip side, they've only won one of their past 5 games here, a shootout win in Utah, coming off a 3-2 home win home loss, I should say, against the Panthers. They've been, a lot of travel since the break. A road trip, home for one, a road trip, now finally home for a few games in a row. But this is a game that the Senators are going to get up for. The Senators have won 4 meetings against Toronto dating back to December 27th of 2023. This season, they've played twice, a 3-0 win in Toronto back in November, then a 2-1 win at home in January. The way they're playing right now, I think they get this done 6-3, 5-2, 2-1, their last 3 wins. Don't think they should be anywhere near plus 140 here. Brady Tkachuk is day to day. He tweaked his hip Thursday, but Travis Green does expect the captain to be all right. So if he doesn't play, maybe not as strongly here on the Sens, but I think plus 140 is just too much for them, especially given the way the Leafs are playing. Still have Tanev back for them, so they are looking a bit better, but I still think you need to see a few wins in a row from them again before you can give them minus 166 against the Sens here. Total, probably look to that under 6.5, minus 130, a bit juicy. So under 6 at minus 110. So before these 2 meetings this season, and both had just 3 goals. Linus Allmark has been pretty solid recently. Anton Forsberg had a good start against the Flyers as well. So yeah, Sens are looking good. It's weird to say, but the Senators do look like they're going to end up making the playoffs. All right, down to 8 p.m. here. I got the St. Louis Blues minus 105 at the Minnesota Wild minus 115, under 5.5 minus 118, over 5.5 minus 102. This is the time here where I really wish Joel was here so I could throw this one to him between 2 of his favorite teams. But these 2 teams, St. Louis, this is the 6th and final game of a long road trip. Coming off back-to-back losses in LA and in Pittsburgh, even after having 4 days off. Minnesota, though, I don't know what they're doing. They're in a playoff spot. They're going to hold on to it, but they can't score. They've scored more than 2 goals once in their past 9 games. Luckily, they haven't allowed more than 3 in any of their past 6. So maybe look to the under 5.5 here at minus 118. Philip Gustafsson has been good for Minnesota. Jordan Binnington is Jordan Binnington. You know what he can do, and I just don't see either of these teams getting enough chances to make it a high-scoring game. Having said that, the past 2 meetings this season were 6-4 and 4-2 decisions for Minnesota, and I do look that way for a side. Minnesota minus 115 at home. Long road trip for St. Louis. Final game of a road trip. If they go down early, they might just pack it in with Minnesota playing a dump and chase game, try to keep chances down. So see a Minnesota and an under here would be my 2 looks. All right. We are also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you're invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a first 4 watch party this coming Wednesday, March 19th at Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys from SGPN. Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one lucky Rhythm user. You don't have to be at the party to win the future. So come by and use Rhythm to help you fill out your bracket and make some bets while you're there. A free party plus a chance at a $250 future bet when you sign up with Rhythm. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. We're also brought to you by Underdog. Time for my bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog Pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100 times your entry. So sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code HGP. All right, down to 8 p.m. again here. Have the Nashville Predators plus 180 at the Los Angeles Kings minus 218. Over 5.5 is minus 115. Under 5.5 at minus 105. This is a back-to-back for the Predators, who are starting. Looks like Saros is projected. This game's not till 10 o'clock though, so make sure for this. But yeah, Saros should start tonight, which means it'll be Annunen in LA on Saturday in the back-to-back. Preds have been good recently. They've won 4 in a row. None of those are against really great teams though. They won in Boston against the Kraken, against the Blackhawks, and then at San Jose. Those last two just by 1 goal. And when I look before, if I remember correctly, I don't think Nashville is very good on no days rest. They're 3-8 on the second game of a back-to-back this season. So the Kings coming off a 3-0 win over the best team in the league, 4-1 over the Islanders, 6-5 in Vegas, 2-1 over St. Louis, 4 straight wins there. I think they keep it rolling. I think they're a great regular season team. We'll see if they can transfer that to the playoffs. Preds, Roman Yossi still out. Making a decent push here, but way too little, way too late for the Preds. So take this Kings line early, minus 218. This will probably get up to minus 250 or higher. So if you want to take the Preds, just wait till as late as you possibly can and get the best number you can there, because Kings are rightful favorites here at home. They're 22, 3, and 4 at home. They have 22 wins and 7 losses at home. I mean, they're awful on the road, 13, 7, and 5, but here at home, the Kings have been dominant this season. So minus 218, parlay piece, maybe even just lay the juice. I think they get it done pretty easily. Puck line, not a bad angle, plus 114. 2 straight puck line wins over Washington and the Islanders. Nashville's past few losses, 4-0, 7-4, 4-1, 5-0. So maybe you do go for a rare Kings puck line at plus 114. All right, down to 10 p.m. here. I got the Chicago Blackhawks plus 200 at the Vancouver Canucks minus 245. Over 5.5 minus 118. Under 5.5 minus 102 here to close it out. Canucks on the puck line are plus 110. And once again, we might be going for a puck line here. Chicago coming off a 4-2 loss in San Jose last night, 3-0 in Colorado before that. Vancouver got a good win in Calgary in the shootout on Wednesday night for a back-to-back. So they're coming back home now with 2 days off. Just they have not been scoring enough to maybe make this a confident puck line play. They haven't scored more than 3 goals in regulation in their past 10 games. They scored for last time out if you include the shootout there. And the Blackhawks have been better defensively. Large thanks in part to Spencer Knight coming over in the Seth Jones trade. He's been given the reins in net as he should, and he's allowed 3 or fewer in most games there. So maybe look at an under 5.5 at minus 102. Kevin Lankinen has been incredible for the Canucks, and you think he wasn't even signed until training camp. He was waiting for potentially a better offer, I think. Then the Canucks came to him. He's 23, 12, and 7, 4 shutouts, 904 save percentage. Definitely a big part of the reason for their success if they do make the playoffs. With Demko injured, Quinn Hughes injured. Quinn Hughes did come back for last game, so hopefully he will be in the lineup again on Saturday for their sake. Tyler Myers, Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, are day-to-day. But Elias Pettersson, the forward, has come alive for them. So if EP40 and Quinn and all those guys can be healthy, you could see the Canucks maybe make a playoff push here against the Flames. Yeah, but for this one, I guess you got to go Canucks minus 245. But if the Blackhawks get up to plus 225, plus 230, maybe you do go with them. But I do think the best bet is just that under 5.5 at minus 102. I don't see either of these teams scoring more than 3 or 4 at the very most. All right, that is the 12-game slate on Saturday, March 15th. Let me just scroll back and through again here. Starting it off at 12:30. Got Golden Knights on the puck line. Start things off plus 136 against the Sabres. Devils, Penguins, nothing really there. Capitals, Sharks. Capitals puck line, if anything. Maybe a big parlay piece if you parlay them with another one of these big favorites later on, like the Kings. Like the Hurricanes in Philly, even on a back-to-back. Lightning. I want to see them win a game before I bet on them, but minus 162 against the depleted Boston team could be a good spot. Panthers, big favorites against Canadians. I really could see that one going either way, thinking about it more now. So probably not going to lay anything too much there. Might wait and see lineup news and see how this line moves. Rangers, Blue Jackets, really like the Blue Jackets there. Get that while you can. I think that number will be coming down, plus 110 right now. Sens, same thing, plus 140 at the Leafs. They have their number. They get up for those Hockey Night in Canada games. Blues Wild, under there, should just be a boring game. Same thing with Preds Kings, should be boring with the Kings winning it. Preds horrible in a back-to-back. So yeah, maybe what I say, Kings and Capitals parlay, see what that gets to, or with the Capitals playing so much earlier, you could just do like a rollover or something with that. And then yeah, Blackhawks, Canucks, I guess Canucks, but make sure Quinn Hughes plays, make sure they're good to go, and make sure the odds don't get too high there. All right, let me see if there's any interesting future odds we can look at. I don't really think too much. I mean, it's going to be. I'm eager to discuss the Stanley Cup power rankings with Joel when he gets back, because we got to figure this out. What teams we like, what teams we don't like after the deadline. Like, we're speaking highly of, or at least I am. I know Joel is speaking highly of some good teams, but like the Panthers, the Stars, and Avs are both look great. They're going to match up in the first round. You got the Oilers, of course. Can the Hurricanes finally do it? They should have a relatively easy path if the Devils are still beat up. I think I saw something about Dougie Hamilton. It may have been out for the regular season. I think that, yeah, out for the rest of the regular season for the Devils. So he might come back in the playoffs for them. But yeah, Hurricanes are there. Vegas, you always got to watch out for. Who knows how the Caps and Jets are going to fare in the playoffs. And you got those Lightning still 16-1 I'm seeing for the Cup. So and maybe they're probably still the best long shot bet, if you can say. But looking at these top teams, Panthers, Stars, Oilers, Avs, Hurricanes, like, it should be a fantastic playoff. So come along for the ride. Subscribe to the Hockey Inland Podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. Leave us a review, leave us a comment, like our stuff there. Get in the SGPN Discord. You can just search for Sports Gambling Podcast Network on Discord, or go to sg.pn/Discord. Follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. And I'm Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop. See ya.